Hello, and welcome back to Temple of the False Pod, where our decks are not optimized, but our plays sure as heck are fun. I'm Andy.
I'm Bruce.
And I said welcome back because this is episode 4 of this mini-series where we're talking about the Doctor Who planes. The plane chase planes. You know, plane chase. If you don't know what plane chase is, go check out one of the previous 3 episodes in this mini-series that we've got going on. Otherwise, welcome back to season 13. Got some cool things going on. Previously, we've talked about 30 of the 36 planes that they released for the Doctor Who Universes Beyond Commander decks.
So if you think that means this episode's going to be a little shorter than the other ones, think again.
It very well may be. But we don't know yet because we haven't gotten there yet. But what Bruce, I believe, is alluding to is the fact that there's only 6 planes left. But there's 4 phenomenon. Bonus! What else? That's about it. I guess as just like a little thing, a little reminder, I suppose. Neither of us have really watched a lot of Doctor Who. So we don't know the flavor implications, what's really going on here beyond the artwork and the mechanics. So really all we're going to talk about is the mechanics. I keep peppering in like, oh, this feels like this plane, because a lot of these do feel like magic planes that we've already visited. There was a New York City one it was New York that felt like New Capenna. Even mechanically, it felt like New Capenna.
Yeah, there was one that felt like Poliano, the Prime Minister's cabinet room.
Oh, yeah.
There's definitely a feel, at least for some of them. Now,
yeah,
that's not true for all of them, but I can definitely see how they could overlay onto some magic planes.
So with all that out of the way, let's get to the final 6 planes. Also, so that you're aware, we're not ranking these. We're just reading them alphabetically. Actually, I guess technically by card number, because the ones with the aren't filed to the bottom.
Right.
So, up first, we've got Spectro Mines on the plane of Androzani Minor. Sure.
Good job.
Thank
I'm sure
you.
that's exactly how it's pronounced.
Minor I got pretty easily. Anyway, when you planeswalk to Spectrox Mines and at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 3 life and create a treasure token. Whenever chaos ensues, create a food token and a 2/2 black human rogue creature token. Oh, that's fun. This is just creating momentum in the game. I like that. Yeah, I like that. If nothing else happens, if all you're doing is building up your board state, if nothing else happens, nobody takes any game actions to kill anybody else, the game will end. Everyone's losing 3 life at their upkeep, unless you make a food token, and then you get that life back. And creating a treasure token allows you to roll again, which is nice, because you got mana. Anyway, this is very interesting. I don't know really what's going on here.
I'm not sure either, but I do know that the ability on the plane discourages you from rolling, because on your upkeep you lose the life. Okay, so why roll now? If I roll away, my opponent who goes next is not going to lose the 3 life. Unless you're that concerned about 1 treasure, seems unlikely, or you're desperate for a blocker, or the food to gain back the 3 life you lost. I think this turns into whoever has the lowest life total is the one who's most encouraged to roll, because you've got to get off the plane. Because all else, everything else being equal, you're going to die first.
Yeah.
So
I think it seems fine. It's just creating content essentially. Like there's just not much else to it.
Yeah.
There's no like nuance to it, other than the fact that it's a human rogue. Like if you're playing a rogues deck or a human deck, I guess like maybe.
Sure.
But like I feel like food and treasure are so ubiquitous now that those aren't game-changing pieces. And if you like food tokens and you think that they're ubiquitous and you just really want something to set yourself apart from other people, go check out my Ko-fi channel or Ko-fi website. I've got some cool collaged tokens. Go check them out. This one, we were just talking about how it kind of fits into like the Magic universe within. This one doesn't necessarily feel like a Magic plane, but this does feel like the D&D, like Adventures in the Forgotten Realm type plane.
Okay.
Which I guess is not technically Universes Beyond either, because it's still Wizards property. Anyway.
Right.
That's what it feels like to me.
Sure.
Up next.
Storm Cage Containment Facility on the plane of Unknown Planet.
Heard of it?
It's a strange... No, I literally haven't. It's unknown.
I swear that joke was not just a setup until this. No idea this is coming.
Okay, so each creature card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost, plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast cards from your graveyard for their escape cost. Yes, exactly. Whenever chaos ensues, detain target creature and opponent controls. And detain is until your next turn, that creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated.
Sure. You're arresting something. Great. I don't know. This seems fine. It seems cool. I like escape, especially where it pertains to just creatures. With Underworld Breach, I think it was just any non-land card, and that became broken because then you get like instants and sorceries, and
right.
I like bringing things back from the graveyard at a cost.
Yeah. This is definitely one I would much prefer to see later in the game. Because, I mean, you need a creature and 3 other cards in your graveyard. So in the first, 3 turns or so, you probably don't have all that. So this could prove to be a dud in the early game. But beyond that, I mean, that's true of a lot of plane.
Right.
That's true of a lot of plane chase cards. So I'm hardly going to hold that against it. And the chaos, I mean, as long as an opponent has a creature, it's worth something. So, yeah. Not super excited, but I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's just another one of those. I think we've had a couple that have just it doesn't affect the game a huge amount,
right?
And when it will, it'll be exciting. But I think just overall, what I think about it is that it encourages you to roll through its mediocrity, because it's just like, I want to find something more exciting, and if I get to detain a creature, then great.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Up next, we got the Tardis Bay on the plane of Gallifrey. The first spell you cast during each of your turns with mana value 2 or greater has Cascade, which means when you cast that spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put the exiled cards on the bottom in a random order. Then when chaos ensues, gain control of target artifact, then planeswalk. I think there's not a huge... Obviously, there's not like a huge interaction between the chaos and the static ability.
Right.
But I like the static ability for what it is, but I also could see getting very annoyed by it, because that's going to be most spells of your... that's going to be most of your first spells are 2 or more.
Yeah.
So, honestly, everyone's going to be getting Cascade, and it's just going to take up a lot of time.
Right. And I watched this on this particular plane come up on game nights.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody played a 2-mana spell. And then we flipped through the cards until they found their Soul Ring and put it onto the battlefield. Because there were only a handful of 1-mana cost cards in the deck.
Right.
So you're right. I think the earlier in the game, the longer this is going to take. because you're going to cast something, and then you're going to flip through a bunch of cards, because a lot of the cards in your deck at this point will be too oversized for the cascade. So you're going to have to keep flipping longer than you would if it was later in the game and you hit us, you play something that costs 7.
Yeah.
Then virtually, the next non-land you find is going to come onto the battlefield, kind of thing. So
yeah, for sure.
But I do like this.
I like it too. It's nice too because like it very clearly signposts when you should be rolling, which is after your first spell.
Oh yeah.
So play your first spell, then roll.
Yeah.
If you use up all your mana, so what? You already got a spell and a free spell. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Up next,
the Temple of Atropos on the plane of time. Okay. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, there's an additional beginning phase after this phase. The beginning phase includes untap, upkeep, and draw.
So we've got untap, upkeep, draw, pre-main phase, pre-combat main phase, combat, post-combat main phase, untap, upkeep, draw, end step?
No.
Oh, no, at the beginning of your post-combat
main phase. So you do the untap, upkeep, draw, and then main phase. Draw,
pre-combat main phase, combat, untap, upkeep, draw, post-combat main phase, and then end step. Okay.
Yeah. In essence, it's untap all your stuff, draw a card, continue your turn.
Yeah.
When chaos ensues, reverse the game's turn order, then planeswalk.
Yeah. So that's what's that?
Oh, okay. So, thank God, because I was reading this as reversing the order of play, meaning start with your end step and then work your way backwards until you get to upkeep. But
no, this is just Aeon Engine.
Yeah, you're just flipping the field around. I will hate this card because every time we play anything that can change directions, it always gets close to me and then changes direction, so I don't get a turn. This has happened to me more than once with other cards, and it's kind of comical, but at the same time, it's a little frustrating. But whatever. Yeah. No, this looks fun.
I love it. I think I will hate it for different reasons, because I think this encourages you to attack, right? Because after you attack, after everything's done, you untap, upkeep, draw. Great, cool. And I like what that is too with the bigger idea of the Doctor Who stuff, which is like a lot of suspend stuff. So like you get another upkeep to tick everything down. But what I will hate most about it is that because it's post-combat, I will forget to attack with things because I'll forget that, oh yeah, I'm going to be untapping again. Like it encourages the attack, but
you're going to forget your creatures have a pseudo-vigilance.
Yeah. But no, I like this. I think it's fun. I think the chaos is a little wacky and will spice things up enough that whatever, sure.
Yeah. Something else that I think will be interesting. A lot of times, if you're on a plane that gives you some kind of benefit through combat, you're waiting until after combat to roll. So there's a good chance that someone, when they arrive on this plane, it will already be their post-combat. So the first person to get any kind of advantage from this will be the next person in turn order, because all of this will have already gone by.
It also
you'll have already missed the beginning of your post-combat main phase, so you won't get any of the untap and draw effect. And this is another plane where when you hit chaos, at the end of the chaos effect, you planeswalk away again. I have to think Wizards is at least thinking a little bit about, wow, wish we had a planar die that would planeswalk more often. Because you and I have been in games where you're stuck in the same plane for 2 rounds because nobody can get out, or maybe one person isn't rolling. But with planes like this, where it's a 1 in 3 shot of leaving, you're going to be jumping from plane to plane pretty quick.
I think even especially thinking about that specifically, I think it's good that it says then planeswalk, because if you and the person to your right just continue chaos and just go back and forth. Nobody else gets turns. It's like a little too big. It like I like the weirdness of it, but like it's a little too big. But what I do like is if you're playing in the map, you can always just come back to this and then reset the turn order. So that's fun. Up next, we got two streams facility on the plane of Apalapucia. When you planeswalk to two streams facility and at the beginning of the first upkeep of the game, each player chooses green anchor or red waterfall. Each player who last chose green anchor may play an additional land during each of their turns. Creatures controlled by players who last chose red waterfall get +2/+0 and have haste. Whenever chaos ensues, each player who last chose green anchor chooses red waterfall and vice versa. Okay, that's where it comes all together. I was like, what? I don't... All right. So when you planeswalk here, everyone chooses a thing, knowing that if you choose green anchor, you get to play an additional land. And if you choose red waterfall, your creatures have haste and +2/+0. Okay, that is helpful, both of them. And then when chaos hits, your choice changes. And that's it. That's all. That's all that's going on here. It's a very wordy card, but it's a very simple idea. But I think they needed to have it be very wordy so that it's not ultimately like vague, you know?
Yeah. And the phrasing of the early phrase, when you planeswalk to two streams facility, and at the beginning of the first upkeep of the game, it just means that because when you start a game with plane chase, you start with a plane.
Right, you're already
this is the first one to come up. You're already there. You're not planeswalking to it. So then on the first upkeep, everyone would pick.
Seems fun. I mean, like it. Like I said, it's wordy. But it's wordy so that it's not vague. You choose a thing, and then whenever somebody rolls chaos, your choice is changed for you.
Mm-hmm.
I like what it does, but I do feel like its fault ends up being it is too wordy. So, like, if this hits the table with somebody who's, like, already not super on board with plane chase...
Oh, yeah.
Then they're going to be like, see, this is the problem. Which is frustrating because it's a very simple card.
Yeah.
Our last plane. Before we go to the phenomenon.
Yes. Unit headquarters on the plane of Earth. When you planeswalk to unit headquarters, and at the beginning of your upkeep, create a tapped 1/1 white soldier creature token. Whenever chaos ensues, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So... On each of your turns, you get a tapped dude. If you roll chaos, you get a +1/+1 counter on all your dudes.
Okay.
That's it. I don't think anybody needs us to tell them when they should roll and when they shouldn't.
You should just always be rolling on this one. Like, getting out of here is fine. Like, you're not missing out on anything if you leave here. But getting chaos is pretty sweet, I suppose.
If you're dominating the game already... then this is a great place to be because I don't think it. I mean, adding a 1/1 token creature is really not going to be doing anything that's tapped, and adding a +1/+1 counter onto all of your creatures. Well, if you're dominating, it's unlikely anybody has a lot of creatures where those counters are going to make a difference. So, I agree with you. I think you just want to be rolling.
I don't know how I feel about tapped creature tokens.
I like tapped treasure tokens, but tapped creature.
I would love a blocker, thank you, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing, is that just slows the game down, creating blockers for free. So.
Yeah. So.
It's fine. It's whatever.
It's fine.
Unfortunate that we ended on that one. But now we've got 4 more cards. Surprise! They're phenomenal.
These are some of the best.
Yeah. So we've talked about plane chase so far. We all know what it is at this point. We all know what planes are. They are essentially world enchantments. Phenomenon, on the other hand, are more like instants. So phenomenon, for those who don't know, if you planeswalk to a phenomenon, the effect happens and then you planeswalk away from the phenomenon. Sometimes the effect latches on to the next plane.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't read any of these, so I don't know if that
Right.
is relevant here. But like, there's one that's like, oh, you planeswalk to the next 2 planes at the same time. Yada yada. You get it. Sometimes it's just destroy all creatures and then planeswalk to the next plane. So that's what phenomenon are.
Yep.
So we've got 4 here.
All right.
They seem pretty straightforward. I'm excited to see what they are. First one we've got is Caught in a Parallel Universe. When you encounter Caught in a Parallel Universe, each player chooses a creature controlled by the player to their left. Each player creates a token that's a copy of the creature they chose, except it has menace. I assume this happens in turn order. You like starting with the person who rolled to this phenomenon chooses a thing that to their left. That person then chooses the thing to their left, etc., etc. And I like that it's rather than take control of it, you just create a token copy.
Yeah.
And
the token copy is better.
Yeah. Unless, it already had menace.
Well, it's more evil.
This is like a cool effect. I like making token copies. And it's nice that it happens once.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is a type of thing where you all secretly choose and then you all reveal at the same time. Like, I don't know how the rules would look upon this.
I think the idea is it's going to be a scenario where you can't copy the person who just copied something else.
No,
so that way everybody gets the same one. But
it all resolves at the same time. But I just mean if you're to the left of me and I choose one of your things, do you get to use that information to choose something? Or is it like we all choose simultaneously? Like,
yeah. I'm not sure.
Because I think it is probably, I choose a thing, the next person chooses a thing, the third person chooses a thing, the fourth person chooses a thing of mine. But, like, that's more fair to the person to your right than you.
Yeah.
Or not more fair, but more advantageous.
Right.
So I don't know. That's the other thing, too, is that it's choosing. It's not targeted.
Yeah, it's not target.
Which is sweet.
Yeah. So there could be a lot of doubled commanders.
Boots don't matter here. Greaves don't matter here. I don't know. That's a confusing one. That's a thing that either you call a judge on or you figure it out amongst yourselves.
Yep. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
What's the next one?
The next one, Fixed Point in Time.
Sure.
When you encounter Fixed Point in Time, until your next turn, if a player would planeswalk as a result of rolling the planar die, chaos ensues instead. So this means you are guaranteed to see that plane all the way around. Kind of like that. Doubles up the chaos effects, which is interesting because then the player would planeswalk as a result of chaos ensues instead. Well, what happens with the planes where when it's chaos at the end of the chaos you planeswalk?
I think you just get chaos twice, but I'm not sure. Like it can't just go infinite, right? Like you can't just infinitely chaos. If a player would planeswalk as a result of rolling the planar die. So if you get chaos and it says then planeswalk,
and it says planeswalk, you do planeswalk.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not necessarily guaranteed to get back to you, but if that's the case, the chaos is super powerful anyway.
Right. So this is sort of like that a mechanism that holds you in place.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. It's interesting.
It's reading the card really explains it.
Yes.
Human Time Lord Metacrisis. When you encounter Human Time Lord Metacrisis, each player chooses one or two creatures they control. Each player creates a token that's a copy of the first creature they chose, except it isn't legendary. Then each player who chose a second creature puts a number of +1/+1 counters on the token they created equal to the power of the second creature they chose. Mimeoplasm as a phenomenon.
Huh.
That's awesome. I like that it creates non-legendary legendaries, and
they're twice the size.
At least. I mean, maybe not necessarily, but...
Oh, okay, no, equal to the power of the second creature. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. I am understanding now.
I like this a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You take the creature with your best ability and the creature with the biggest power.
Yeah.
Here's
and
my
I
token.
I like that it doesn't affect the originals at all. It's just
pop.
Poof. And honestly, great. This is wonderful. Even early game, as long as you have 2 creatures, I think this is fine. If you have only 1 creature, it's still pretty good. Like, say you only have a Llanowar Elves, like, you just got a free one. Like, sure. Our last card for this mini-series.
Unleash the Flux. When you encounter Unleash the Flux, each player sacrifices a non-land permanent. Then you flip a coin. If you lose the flip, repeat the process.
Okay.
So, everybody immediately loses 1 non-land permanent. Then you flip a coin, and there's a 50-50 chance that everybody loses another one. And if you were unfortunate that the 50-50 chance meant you did lose another one, then you flip again for another 50-50 chance of losing another one.
Yeah, I kind of wish this just said destroy all non-land permanents.
Right. I really don't want to run into this one in the first 4 turns of the game.
Yeah. Or the last 2. Like if somebody's about to take away the game, like take the game, I don't know.
Yeah, and the longer you play, I mean, this is a card that really rewards the player who happens to be playing with treasure tokens. Because you're just sacking a token. Because it just says non-land permanent. So you're sacking something that's irrelevant. In the early game, when you've got 4 or maybe 5 permanents, every one of them counts for something. So, I think this would be unfortunate, especially if you roll, if you lose the flip once. Everybody's losing 2. And I appreciate that everybody is losing it, but it's just, I want something that's advancing the game, not crushing it down.
Yeah.
So I will say, of the 4, I like the Human Time Lord Meta Crisis the most. But Caught in a Parallel Universe isn't bad either. So.
Yeah. I'm pretty much on the same page with that.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these are like super amazing. But I think that they do add enough that at the right time in most games, they can be a lot of fun. But I think just like looking at them, it's like, I don't know, But I think forced to do it is sick. Anything else you want to say about any of these planes? All 36 of them?
I look forward to mixing them in with the other 100 or so planes. If you are new to Plane Chase, I strongly recommend checking out all of them. Just set it up on Scryfall, just search for plane. You'll find them all there, and then search for phenomenon, and you'll find all of the phenomenon that already exist. They're just a lot of fun, and I think there are even a number of ways out there for you to actually do Plane Chase without having to buy all the cards. There are apps and other things out there that you can use.
I've put a link in the description below to somebody's GitHub where they just have... they've got all the planes, and you just click on it when you roll.
One out.
Yep. And it's got all of them. It's got a checklist so you can like check off the ones that you don't want. But I'll put that link in all of the videos. It's a good
thing.
Just
check it out. Plane Chase is just, it adds just that little bit of chaos to your game. And I love that. I love that it creates a little bit more of a balancing act with your games. So check it out. It is just that much fun.
Yeah. There are currently planes and Phenomenon.
Yeah.
I think about this time 2 years ago. So before March of the Machine, which was about a year ago. Before that, there was like 82-ish. We're at 151. Okay.
Yeah.
So go check out Plane Chase. Play some for me. Whenever somebody has a cool video that involves Plane Chase, check that out. We really should be encouraging this goofiness more.
We should be encouraging this phenomena.
But that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for sticking around for the past couple weeks. We got something new coming up next week. It's not Doctor Who. Probably. It's not Plane Chase. Also probably, unless something big comes out in the news the next couple weeks.
Wow.
Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, you got a nice full view of those planes and the phenomenon. You got our faces up there. If you're not watching on YouTube, go give us a sub. It would help us out.
Yeah.
If you're listening, also just thank you for the support. It's great. I don't know what else to say. Thank you again. We're Temple of Falsepod. We're X and not optimized, but our plays sure as heck are fun. I'm Andy.
I'm Bruce.
Go play some Magic. Go play some Plane Chase for me. Have a great night, and may your fifth land be the Temple.
Bye!
Wait. Before you go, I just wanted to say thank you for listening. You can reach out to us via email at falsepodmtg@gmail.com or on Twitter @falsepodmtg. Bruce is @manaburned, and I'm @AndyWeekend, though you'll definitely notice I use the podcast Twitter far more often. Now that we've got you here, make sure you subscribe, like, rate us on whatever podcast platform you use. It helps us out. It gets us more reach. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Like a video there. Leave some comments for more casual enjoyment. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with some more timeless discussions about all things casual. So come hang out, and may your fifth land be the Temple. Bye-bye. Should I do my best, Bruce? Bye!